It's a financial philosophy rooted in Midwest values like hard work and frugal spending. And for many Midwesterners, when it comes to their budget, they prioritize financial security over flashy wealth. And that pays off. Here to explain is Peak Retirement Planning founder Joe Schmitz. Welcome, Joe.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
Now, you wrote a book called Midwestern Millionaire that I'm sure a lot of folks can resonate with. Tell us more about it and why it's Midwestern Millionaire.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. So obviously we're here in Columbus, Ohio.
Right.
But we serve clients all across the country. And so we get clients that are maybe in Florida who say, hey, I'm not necessarily from the Midwest, but I'm middle class or I'm blue collar. And so they'll call themselves the blue collar millionaire or the middle class millionaire. And we even have people in the West who will call themselves the Midwest millionaires, but they'll put the mid in parentheses. So it looks like the West millionaire. But it's more about the values. It's about being hardworking, frugal, diligent savers. And we think, when I think of these people, it's the people who have allowed me to be who I am today. You know, the hardworking people who have lived a life of service. They never made millions of dollars a year, but they were extremely frugal. They may have felt like they lived paycheck to paycheck, but now they reach retirement and they're in a great position. And now they realize we actually have wealth at this point. And now it becomes, how do we best steward this wealth? How do we ensure we don't run out? How do we maximize our legacy? How do we ensure that we get to spend more during our retirement and enjoy what they've worked so hard for? Is what we see often.
So why did you write this book?
Yeah, so I mean, a lot of reasons why. One is primarily this is a crowd we serve. I mean, when you look at our client base, all of them are that Midwestern millionaire. And we always say, you know, those are their best savers are the worst spenders. So it's enjoyable to help them find more of that purpose with their money. But I always think of my Uncle Chuck when I think of the book Midwestern. The forward to the book is about my Uncle Chuck. And he was the first client that I got when I got into the financial planning industry. He trusted me when I was 22 years old with his entire life savings.
Wow.
And for me, it meant the world. But with my Uncle Chuck, his wife stayed at home. He had 5 kids. They never made millions of dollars. He was a plumber and pipe fitter. But he was so frugal and he just was so diligent in saving. And so when he got to retirement, he was able to retire early and he was able to have a great retirement from that point on. And so that's what this book is all about, is how do we help people like my Uncle Chuck find that financial freedom in retirement.
Now, why is planning for Midwestern millionaires different from others? You touched on that a bit, but can you elaborate?
Yeah, I mean, one of the biggest things Midwestern millionaires are worried about is taxes. So taxes are likely going to be the biggest expense in retirement for these folks. And that's not usually the case for everyone else. So I've seen a stat that said that 40% of people pay no taxes in retirement. And the reason why is because their income's under the standard deduction, so they don't have to pay any taxes. But when you've had all your savings in 401ks or IRAs, all these tax-deferred investments that when you pull that out, you have to pay taxes on, plus if maybe you have a pension and Social Security, you're likely probably going to be in the same tax bracket or higher. And so many of these folks have been told, I'll be in a lower tax bracket in retirement, you'll be in a lower tax bracket. It's not always the case for these folks, and so tax planning is one of the biggest, more unique ways that they can plan for.
And people have so many questions about this. It's nice to be able to come to an expert like yourself to be able to get those answers.
Yeah, and we always tell people, get help from someone, whether it's a team like ours or someone else, get help from someone who's doing comprehensive planning, who's independent. So someone who's going to act in your best interest, who isn't going to follow any cookie cutter approaches, that's going to have the CPA help you with getting your estate planning documents facilitated, do everything all in one place. We call it that one-stop shop. And so, you know, you work 40 years for this. How many people have planned their retirement? You know, this may be their first time. Probably worthwhile for people to really get help on something this serious.
Very true. You posted a YouTube video called "You Might Be a Midwestern Millionaire If." It went viral.
Yeah.
It was very funny. Please tell our viewers about it if they haven't seen it yet.
Yeah, so they can go on our YouTube. We have a YouTube channel. It's literally called Joe Knows Retirement. So we play off the Bo Knows, you know, back in the day. And it's a lot of fun. But we educate people, Midwestern millionaires, on retirement topics. So if people are looking for more resources, but I did a video on that, and it's all about all these things that these people have done to get to this point. And it's all the funny things, like when they go out to eat, they always have coupons. they have to do happy hour. And I always tell a story about my mom. She loves blueberries, but she will only buy them if they're on sale. And so she's got to make sure she saves the money, and that's what Midwestern millionaires do.
Some of those fruit prices, she's a smart lady.
She is.
I don't blame her. Real quickly, what are the biggest planning mistakes that a lot of us make?
Yeah, I would say that the tax planning is number one, as we've already talked about. One other thing that we see that many Midwestern millionaires aren't planning for yet is what's called the widow's penalty. And that's when one spouse passes away, you lose one of the Social Security benefits, but also your taxes can nearly double. And so a lot of people that we work with are trying to plan ahead for this, knowing one spouse is going to pass away first, because it can be a significant loss of income and more taxes for that surviving spouse.
Joe, how can our viewers watching right now get more information from you or get in contact with you?
Yeah, so if they want to request the Midwestern Millionaire book we have here, then they can just text the number on the screen there, and we'll send it out to them and give them more resources as they plan their retirement. And then if they're looking for further help from us too, they can go to our website and schedule a call with us.
All right, information's on the screen. Joe, thank you.
Yeah, thanks for having us.